Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream. Today is March 29th, and I am excited about this Tuesday, and I hope that you are too. If you woke up and you're not too excited about what lies before you in today, just take a moment and do the Just for Today meditation with me. And I hope that after you hear it, you'll feel more charged to take your life on with authority and enjoy your day. I'm excited about today. Today is a good day. I am brought to you through Hope by Hope Through Navigation. This is our Hood Recovery Services, Hope offered on demand. What that means is that you should eventually, after this program is completely built, you should be able to download our app. You will be able to plug in or just at the touch of a finger, go to the link that you're interested in, and you will be able to receive hope based on what your need is. Eventually, these recordings will be categorized based on the spiritual principles that they represent. And that would be easy for you to, if you're feeling down that day, or if you're dealing with issues of anger or resentment or just being devalued and trying to figure out how you should deal with that. You should be able to, when this is completely finished, you should be able to go to our app and download or go to the area that you need the most help in. Eventually, I am going to begin going through the steps on this program. And you will be able to follow along with me, steps 1 through 12, as we discuss them. And I will discuss them for the most part from my personal angle, but you should be able to go to any recording wherever you are in your step. It will be itemized in the description what page of the step working guide of Narcotics Anonymous I am on. And that will be very helpful, I believe, in this time where we are somewhat post pandemic, but struggling still nonetheless to come together face to face. So let me get into the Just for Today. Let me go to the screen. Our Own True Will, March 29th. And I would have to say that even though I have not read it today, I have read this one many times. And this is one of my absolute most favorite Just for Today meditations. I think the one I mentioned the other day, October 25th, is right there at the top as well. But this particular reading has a lot of personal meaning to me. And I'm hoping that as we go through it together, it will also means something to you. So here's the March 29th reading, Our Own True Will, page 91. God's will for us consists of the very things we most value. God's will becomes our own true will for ourselves. Basic text, page 48. It's human nature to want something for nothing. We may be ecstatic when a store cashier gives us back change for a 20, though we only paid with a 10. We tend to think that if no one knows, one small deception won't make any difference. But someone does know. We do. And it does make a difference. What worked for us when we used frequently doesn't work long in recovery. As we progress spiritually by working the 12 steps, we begin to develop new values and standards. We begin to feel uncomfortable when we take advantage of situations that, when we used, would have left us gloating about what we had gotten away with. In the past, we may have victimized others. However, as we draw closer to our higher power, our values change. God's will becomes more important than getting away with something. When our values change, our lives change too. Guided by an inner knowledge given us by our higher power, we want to live out our newfound values. We have internalized our higher power's will for us. In fact, God's will has become our own true will for ourselves. Just for today, by improving my conscious contact with God, my values have changed. Today, I will practice God's will, my own true will. And again, that quote comes from basic text page 48, the basic text page 48, where it says, God's will for us consists of the very things we most value. God's will becomes our own true will for ourselves. And so here in this Just for Today meditation, it draws two polar opposites. On the one hand, when we were using, we didn't have a problem if others were victimized, right? We didn't have a problem if we came out on top at the expense of other people. We didn't have a problem if the cashier gave us change for a 20 and we know doggone well we only paid with a 10. As I was sharing the other day with some other recovering individuals, it didn't matter if I took the cart into the parking lot and left it near where I had parked. That didn't matter to me. It didn't matter to me if a piece of paper went flying from my pocket or my purse or my receipt from getting the gas. It went flying. It didn't matter to me. I wasn't going to make a fool of myself chasing it down, right? So there's some things that we did when we were using that were very self-centered, right? Because we know for a fact self-centeredness is at the core of our disease. Using is a very selfish, self-seeking, self-fulfilling thing to do. And so there were some things that we did that were totally not God's will. They were our will. But here, the other polar opposite on the other end is this transformed individual. That's you, right? This transformed individual that has been affected by the spiritual principles of the 12 steps, the spirituality that has been gained as a result of progressing through the steps. Here you see, as we progress spiritually by working the 12 steps, we begin to develop new values and standards, right? And so that's very important for us to sit here and talk about that, because sometimes we don't give ourselves credit for how far we have come. And I do know we need to play into our strengths, right? And work on our weaknesses. And that's true. But a lot of us do not give ourselves credit for the growth that we've made as a result of the spiritual principles that we were introduced to through Narcotics Anonymous or any 12-step program, and have incorporated into our day-to-day life. Now, this person that is being talked about here, that can say that my own true will is God's will. When you become one with your higher power as far as purpose, will, purpose, and pursuit, when you become one with your higher power, right? Then there's a flow of things, or there's a grace that happens in your life. So even as things that may oppose themselves may come up, you're a newfound person. You have new values. You have a new core value, and God is at the center of that. So when you can say that my will, my true will is the will of God, you're saying quite a bit right there. You're saying quite a bit. What you're actually saying is that no matter what comes against me, no matter what the day looks like, I'm plugged into my higher power. I'm plugged into the proper juice. I'm plugged into God's will, so that even if something comes up against me and it might look like candy, right? In the candy store, it might look like an apple to me. That is not what I'm going to do, because I know that unless I'm at one with God's will, that's not the true will for me. My true will is to do the will of God. My true will is to do what He has given me to do, to own my portion, to become productive members of society in the areas in which God has given me authority over. So in those areas, right, I am going to take charge of those areas. And so this is a very positive just for today. I think that some people, they get involved in, I don't want to say mindless pursuits, because they may be monetarily very beneficial, but it's not uncommon for an individual to, be in their active addiction and pursuing what alone is going to bring the money so they can get the next one. And maybe they've stepped away from active addiction per se, and maybe they are just still holding on to the habits, pursuing, get the next hand up before the next person does, right? At the expense of others. And so what happens is that when they begin to have an impartation, the spiritual principles of this 12-step program, they no longer become comfortable with their dishonest gains. They no longer become comfortable with the way that they got what they have. Now, it's unlikely that they're going to give the things that they've gained as a result of dishonest gains away. It could be a car, it could be a home, it could be something of some substantial value. And dishonest gain doesn't necessarily have to mean selling drugs, right? Dishonest gain could mean that other people had to suffer as you rose up in the ranks, right? Because you had that dog eat dog mentality, right? That I'm going to get it before you get it. And so you have these dishonest gains, these things that you've accomplished. And what happens when you become more intimate with God and more intimate with God, in the sense of allowing your higher power to have a say in how, not only what you do, but how you do it, then that awakening happens. This awakening happens. And when this awakening takes place, you no longer become comfortable even with the dishonest gains. What you have to apply there is a spirit of self-forgiveness, right? If it's not one of those things that you can just, give away in the spirit of honoring the fact that it was a dishonest gain, it's a home, it's a car, it can be so many valuable things. In the spirit of forgiveness, you have to put yourself at the top of that amends list. And you have to tell yourself, hey, I don't like how that felt. I don't like how it looks. And I am no longer going to do that. I'm going to do things right by myself, right by God, and right by other people. And then you just move on and change that behavior, right? And when you're making amends to yourself or to others, in pursuit of the will of God and your own true will, because you're unified now with your higher power. When you're making that amends, you're changing the behavior. More importantly, it's way more important than, I don't want to say that saying sorry is not important, but making the amends is more important. And making the amends is does not only embody the I'm regretful or remorseful, it also embodies the change of behavior, right? And so I just want to encourage you today that by improving your conscious contact with God, so we're here probably speaking about the 11th step, my values have changed. Today I will practice God's will my own true will. I want to encourage you today to go through your inventory, go through your own life. You know, step 10 is about taking an inventory on a nightly basis, right? And being willing to make that prompt amends. But step 11 is through prayer and meditation, right? You're able to maintain that conscious contact with God, asking for knowledge of his will and the power to carry that out. How beautiful is that 11th step? How beautiful it is, right? Because now I'm saying, you know what, whatever my ambitions were, they take a back seat to what the will of God is for me in my life. That's really my true will, is to do the will of God and to do excellent by it. I hope today has been fruitful for you. I hope today has been a beautiful just for today meditation for you. It has for me. I am excited about my day. I'm excited about God's will for my day. And I am excited about it becoming my own true will. And that's a thing, you know, you don't necessarily do that perfectly, right? It is something, it's a thing that you get to practice and you get to walk it out. So today I want for you to be mindful, right? I was talking to the boys and I told them, I need you to be mindful of your surroundings, of yourself, and how you engage other people. I want you to be respectful. I want you to be intentionally mindful, and I want you to be obedient, right? Because these are things, when people see these attributes in you, they say, that's a humble person, right? That's a humble person. And that's someone that I can invite into my circle, right? Because they know that you're not coming in like a bull in a china store, right? They know that you're coming in a spirit of collaboration, not take over the world, right? And people will invite you. Your energy will cause them to want to have you on their team. And that's what we want. We want collaboration. In the season that we're in, we want collaboration. And that's just my personal point of view. I want to collaborate with people. I want to be the floor for other people, right? I want my ceiling to be the floor for other people. So I want to be able to, as appropriate according to God's will for me, to be able to allow others to step up on my shoulders and go further than I've ever gone in my life, right? I believe that that is a part of God's will for me. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you. I want to remind you, even though I don't have my background up, I was having some difficulty. I want to remind you, though, that I am brought to you through Hope Through Navigation. This is Hood Recovery Services, Hope offered on demand. And you can reach me at Recovery of Hope 21 at gmail.com. Let me repeat that. Recovery of Hope 21 at gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and you have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Tuesday, March 29th.